Hare Krishna, Ashoka Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. You are able to hear me, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Are we ready, Prabhu?
Yeah, I am ready.
Prabhuji, you will be sharing the screen or you want me to share the sloka, Prabhu?
Anything I can also share, not a problem. You want me to share?
Yes, Prabhuji. I can make you as a co-host.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Happy Monday, and we'll have a great start for this week with Rudra Geetam from Canto 4, chapter number 24, sloka number 41. His Grace Ashok Gaura Prabhu will enlighten us, and we are very glad to have him in this association today. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okam Kroti Vachalam Pungam Lungheti Grimit Kripatam Munde Shri Gurum Dinatarnam Pramanam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Right, I was planning to share some presentation also. So we are doing Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 41 in this song sung by Lord Shiva, the Rudra Geet. प्रवृत्ताय निवृत्ताय पितृदेवाय कर्मणे नमो धर्म विपाकाय मृत्यवे दुःखदाय च. प्रवृत्ताय निवृत्ताय पितृदेवाय कर्मणे नमो धर्म विपाकाय मृत्यवे दुःखदाय च. प्रवृत्ताय निवृत्ताय पितृदेवाय कर्मणे नमो धर्म विपाकाय मृत्यवे दुःखदाय च. Okay. Word to word meaning. Pravrittaya, inclination. Nivrittaya, disinclination. Pitradevaya, unto the masters of Pitriloka. Karmane, unto the resultant action of fruitive activities. Nama, offering respects. Adharma, irreligious. Vipakaya, unto the result. Mrityave, unto death. Dukkhadaya, the cause of all kinds of miserable conditions. Cha, also. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. My dear Lord, you are the viewer of the results of pious activities. You are inclination, disinclination, and the resultant activities. You are the cause of the miserable conditions of life caused by irreligion, and therefore you are death. I offer you my respectful obeisances. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart, and from him issue a living entity's inclinations and disinclinations. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead causes the asuras to forget him and the devotees to remember him. One's disinclinations are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Bhagavad Gita 16.7, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidhurasura. The asuras do not know which way one should be inclined to act and which way one should not be inclined to act. Although the asuras oppose devotional service, it is to be understood that they are inclined that way due to the personality of Godhead. Because the asuras do not like to engage in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord within gives them the intelligence to forget. Ordinary karmis desire promotion to Pitriloka as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pitrivrata. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods, and those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors. In this verse, the word dukkhadaya is also very significant. For those who are non-devotees, are perpetually put into the cycle of birth and death. This is very miserable condition because one's position in life is attained according to one's activities. The asuras or non-devotees are put into such miserable conditions. Harihi Om Tat Sat. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas here so that I can speak appropriately. So we've been hearing the Rudra Gita for quite some time now, although I am not regular, so please forgive me about it. And but I did hear some of the previous speakers speak about this. So when the Prachetas meet Lord Shiva is very happy, and he knows that the somebody who is completely pure, he directs them to Lord Krishna. He tells them that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, or Vasudeva, they are very dear to me. They are the ones who are real devotees of mine. And then he goes on to tell them about the Rudra Geet, which he chants. Initially, he glorifies Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha. Stating that Vasudeva is the lord of everything that is pervading. And then he says, Pradyumna, I pay my obeisances to Lord Pradyumna, who is the master of the intelligence, and Lord Aniruddha, who is the master of the mind and the senses, and Sankarshana, who is the master of all the Pancha Mahabhutas and the Pancha Tanmatras, all that. And then finally he comes to this, where he is telling that you are the viewer of the results of pious activities. The Lord actually oversees. He is the witness, and he is also the sanctioner. Like Bhagavad Gita says, Upadrashtacha Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto. So that Paramatma, he is the witness of all our activities, and also he is the bestower of the results of our activities. And he is also Anumantacha, that is, he is a sanctioner. Whatever we desire, the Lord sanctions it. And there's some interesting, statements made here, and it is very confusing. If you see here, Srila Prabhupada is writing, the Lord who is situated in everybody's heart, and from him issue a living entity's inclinations and disinclinations. It appears as if, we have no free will, no independence, and we are being forced to behave in a good way or a bad way, all because, the inclination is being pushed by the Supreme Lord. Elsewhere also here, it says, the Lord causes the asuras to forget him. and the devotees to remember him. One may be bewildered, then where is the question of free will if everything is done by the Supreme Lord? Or, the asuras do not know which way one should be inclined to. The asuras do not know which way one should be inclined to act and which way one should not be inclined to act. Although the asuras oppose devotional service, it is to be understood that they are inclined that way due to the personality of Godhead. It appears, as if poor fellows, the asuras, they are being forced by the Supreme Lord to be asuras. Of course, the statement, speaks about it. But we have to understand, we have to, sometimes even purport also has to be explained. So definitely, the inclinations and disinclinations, as it is mentioned here, they are coming from the Supreme Lord. But they are coming only after we have exercised our free will and independence. When we decide to be, away from the Supreme Lord, and then, he inspires that forgetfulness. And when somebody wants to remember the Supreme Lord, then the Chaitya Guru in our heart, he inspires us to remember him. He brings us in contact with the devotees so that our satsanga, continues. So the Lord acts, he influences the inclinations and disinclinations of all the living entities according to the free will or the independence that we exercise. So that is the understanding of this, and not that, the Lord is forcing all the jivas, and he is the one who is deciding, what inclinations they will have or what disinclinations they will have. So that is the understanding of this. And also here it is mentioned, the Supreme Lord causes the asuras to forget him and the devotees to remember him. So now this doesn't mean, that the Supreme Lord is the most merciful personality, the most merciful sentient being in this entire creation. That is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, how can the Lord be so merciless that, he causes the jivas? Of course, they may be asuras, but why would he cause them to forget him? That is because they are envious. They do not want to remember the Supreme Lord. Not only are they envious, not only do they want to not remember the Supreme Lord, but they are also very, very dangerous to the other living entities. And that is when the Lord, makes arrangements that, they forget him. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tani aham dvishatah kruran samsareshu naradhaman kshipam ajasram ashubhan asurishveva yonishu Asurim yonim apanna mudha janmani janmani mam aprapya nivartante tato yatya dhamam gatim. So tani aham dushatah kururam, those who are dveshi, very envious, samsareshu naradam, who are the lowest among the mankind in this universe. I will push them, more and more deeper into the dense darkness of illusion of this material world. Kshipami ajasram ashubhan asurishva eva yonishu, in the different yonis of asuras. Asurim yonim apanna mudha janmani janmani, life after life, they will be trapped there. It is not that the Supreme Lord is a sadist and he takes pleasure in the jiva's suffering. No, it is not like that. It is the desire of the living entity. It's a desire of the jiva who wants to forget, who wants to be independent, who wants to be envious, who does not want to take shelter, who thinks he is independent, who thinks that his pleasure is there in others' trouble. So it is such people, the Lord is talking about how he will punish them. Even sometimes, for that matter, even devotees also may forget the Supreme Lord. Now, when they forget, Lord is not going to push them into some demoniac species. No, that doesn't happen like that, because they are devotees and for some reason they deviated. And so that doesn't mean, the Lord will punish them. As Narada Muni, he says in the 5th canto, Navai Janojatu Kathanchana Vrajen Mukunda Sevi Anyavad Anga Samsaritim. Anybody who is engaged, in the service of the Supreme Lord, and sometimes because of, external circumstances, because of the influence of the illusory energy of the Lord, due to his material desires, whatever may be the reason, he may deviate, he may go away. Then Narada says, Smaran Mukundangrim Upaguhanam Punar Vihatumichen Narasagraho Jana. It is said that although he may go away, he is unable to forget the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. That is where, the remembrance comes from him. Although he wants to forget the Supreme Lord, the Lord will not allow him to forget. Smaran Mukundangrim Upaguhanam Punar. Again and again, he's reminded, oh, I was chanting so nicely. Oh, I had such wonderful devotees. Oh, all the devotees were helping me. It was so blissful. The festivals were very nice. Everything was wonderful. What did I do to myself? He laments. Vihatmichen rasagraho jana. Then, he comes back. He comes back. And then it is said that because he is unable to give up that taste, he has already tasted that pure devotional service. He is unable to give it up. So he comes back. Smaran Mukundangrim Upaguhanam Punar. He comes back. And then Vihatamichin Narasagrahojana. Because that he's tasted that rasa of devotional service, he is unable to give up. That is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Although we may want to go away, the Lord is not eager to send us away. He forcibly, gives his remembrance. We have these examples, the wonderful examples of devotees, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, who give their narratives where, one devotee, he wanted to go, he had some fight, he went away. He went to a remote area in Alaska, Alaska is in the north, and he just wanted to avoid everybody. And to his utter surprise, the more he wanted to forget the devotees and Krishna, the more he would see in television, whichever television channel he would open, he would see some devotees, in the kirtan dancing, or he would, open something and then, he would hear something about that, or, wherever he would go on the street, he would, try and, hear. Basically, the radio channels, he would hear. There were many radio channels in the past. So he would hear about devotees. So that way, he just couldn't forget. And, ultimately he came back. There's another story of how a devotee was a pujari. And, for whatever reason, he left. And then after several years, his friend was inclined and he wanted to go visit the temple. And he said that, I think you were already part of this organization. Why don't we go? And he refused. He said, no, I will not. And then, he forcibly took him. And when he entered the temple, and because he was earlier a pujari, and when he entered the temple and he saw that another pujari was, fanning with chamara when he was fanning the Lord, he completely broke down. He started crying. He could remember everything that he had done in the past. He became so emotional. He realized that, he did a mistake, and he wanted to come back. So this is the way, simply by little small tricks, the Lord pulls us back. Simply by, a little chamara being flown in the air, and the devotee got, completely bewildered, and then, he came back to the shelter of Krishna. So the Lord has his own ways and tricks. So he's very merciful. The Lord is mostly, he's merciful to those who have practiced even a little devotional service. So elsewhere also in the Bhagavatam, there's a statement where, Lord tells the Uddhava in the 11th canto, he says, Swapadamulam bhajata priyasya tyaktanya bhavasya hari pareshava vikarmayachot patitam kathanchit dhunoti sarvam hridi sannivishto. So any devotee, swapada moolam bhajata priyasya. Anybody who is worshipping me, my lotus feet, in pure devotional service, Tyaktanya bhavasya hari pareshaha. He's given up everything. He has no other desire, but he has taken shelter of Krishna. But somehow or the other, vikarmayacha utpatitam kathanchat. Somehow he committed sinful activities. He deviated. He committed, he broke the regulative principles, or he may have committed much more grievous sinful activities. Vikarmayacha utpatitam kathanchat. And then he falls down. He becomes patita. Then it is said, Vikarmaya chotpatitam kathanchit स्वपादमूलं भजत प्रियस त्यक्तन्य भावस्य हरि परेशः विकर्मयच्चोत्पतितं कथंचित् धुनोति सर्वं हृदि सन्निविष्टः. But the Lord seated in his heart, he cleanses his heart and he is completely freed from sinful activities. He is not bound by the reactions of the sinful activities that he has performed. This is the kind of merciful Lord we are talking about. And of course, this works only in case of a devotee who laments for his mistakes and who wants to come back. So is completely cleansed. So the forgetfulness of the devotee and the forgetfulness of asuras is completely different. That is the whole point here. And we have example of Mother Sita. Yesterday I was talking about that, where Mother Sita, it is said that she got attracted to this golden deer, and it is the semblance is given to a jiva getting attracted to material desires. And when Mother Sita got attracted to the golden deer, she herself distanced away from the Supreme Lord, because the Lord left her and he went chasing that golden deer. She got separated. And when Mother Sita offended Lakshmana, saying that she doubted his character, that he wants to enjoy her, and because of that offense, it is said that the Lord himself separated from Mother Sita. She was carried away by Ravana. So the understanding, the similarity that is given here is when we are attracted to material desires, then we ourselves separate from the Supreme Lord. But we still have hope. It is not so grave. But when we commit offenses, then the Lord himself separates himself from us. He'll take us out and he'll put us in another place, so that if we do not continue offending, the devotees, something like that. So that way, that is more serious. We don't want to, fall into that category. So of course, we do not want to fall in any category of whether it is material desires or, offending devotees. But the Lord is merciful, especially, we get bewildered by the power of his illusory energy, but not so much if we are, offensive to his devotees. Then he will not tolerate. Then we have to go through the suffering, and then we may be subjected to punishment. It could be a grave punishment. So we have examples of how Gopal Chapal, Gopal Chakravarti, who offended Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur, they were punished. They became lepers and they were ostracized from the society, Bahishkrita, and then they had to suffer, and nobody would speak to them. When they went through that intense suffering, then they lamented. And when they lamented, then they took shelter of devotee and sought forgiveness. And because of seeking that forgiveness, they were completely forgiven. And then the Lord also, forgave them. So yes, they also have hope, but it is a very horrible path. We do not want to go through that experience of offending somebody and suffering. But at the same time, we have example of Kala Krishna Das, who was an associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he would travel along with the Supreme Lord everywhere. And at one point of time, he got deviated. There were Bhattatari women who, they enticed him into their company, and he gave up the company of the Lord and he went into their camp. They're like nomads. So when the Lord came to know, he was very disturbed. And then he caught hold of his shika and he pulled him back and he dragged him back, literally dragged him back out of their camp. So this very famous statement is made, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is said, "Say bhakta dhanya jena chhade prabhur charan, say thakur dhanya jena chhade nij jan. दुर्दैवे सेवक जति जाय अन्य स्थाने, say ठाकुर धन्य तारे चूले धरी आने." The meaning of this is, say bhakta dhanya jena chhade prabhur charan. That devotee is very glorious who does not give up the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And further it is said, say Thakur Dhanya Jena Chhade Nijajan. But that Supreme Personality of Godhead is more glorious because he never gives up his devotees who have taken his shelter. But Durdeve Sevaka Jati Jaya Anyasthane. But somehow, unfortunately, the devotee, deviates, gives up everything, goes away somewhere. Then it is said, say Thakur Dhanya Tare Chule Dharyani. But that glorious Lord is even more glorious because he grabs hold of his shika and he pulls him back, he drags him back. That means basically the Lord protects him. The Lord brings him back. So this is the merciful nature of the Lord. He is so grateful for even little insignificant devotional service that we have performed, that he doesn't forget it. He does not have to come in front of us and give us some certificate that, don't worry, I'm protecting you. No, it is understood. We learn this from the Shastras. We learn this from devotees. It is already established. These are the statements, which are there in the Shastra, which gives us a great hope. Because it is giving us great hope doesn't mean we have the license to, deviate away. So it doesn't work like that. But unknowingly, accidentally, if something happens, we still have the protection of the Lord. Even when somebody is very, very much struggling with anarthas, and he's very sincere about it, the Lord is merciful. He gives us opportunity so that we clear ourselves and become closer. We become purified. So that way. We have, like, as I gave the example of Mother Sita, we have examples of both offensive behavior and deviant behavior of, getting attracted to material desires or something like that. And there's a prayer in the Jambudvipa, the prayers by the residents of Jambudvipa, where the residents themselves, they are quoting this prayer. It is said that Satyam dishatyarthitam artito nrinam naivarthadoyat punararthitayatha. The meaning of this is, that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satyam dishatyarthitam artito nrinam. If a devotee has a desire for artha, he has some material desires. He wants to gain money, or he wants to enjoy some, sense enjoyment. Then it is said, the Lord, fulfills his desire so long it is not interfering and deviating him from devotional service. But naivarthadoyat punararthitayata. But he will not fulfill that desire in such a way that it will increase his hankering more and more for material objects. He wouldn't do that. Only if it is a necessity, and then the Lord will fulfill that desire. But he will not fulfill the desire if it becomes an unnecessary necessity, which will deviate that person. Satyam dishat arthitam arthito nrinam naivarthadoyat punararthitayata swayam vidatte bhajatam anichhatam ichhapidanam nijapada pallavam. Swayam vidatte, he forcibly gives himself bhajatam anichhatam. Although he is worshipping, but he is anichhatam. He has no desire to go back to Krishna. He does not have any desire to go back to the spiritual world. But he is using the Lord as an order supplier. But he is worshipping the Lord. Unfortunately, that poor fellow, he does not know who is dealing with. He is dealing with the Supreme Lord. And The Supreme Lord cannot be an order supplier. So the Lord, Ichhapidanam Nijapada Pallavam. He forcibly gives that person his lotus feet. Swayam Vidatte Bhajatam Anichchatam. Although he has no ichha to attain Krishna, he gives himself, Swayam Vidatte, then Ichhapidanam Nijapada. He forcibly gives the lotus feet of himself so that the living entity, completely forgets his material desires, is purified of his desires, and then he takes complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. So that way, these inclinations and disinclinations that we are talking about, they are, coming from the Supreme Lord, no doubt, but only after we have exercised our free will, what we want to do. And it is also mentioned, the demons, the asuras, they are inclined to act against the Supreme Lord. They are inclined to not engage in devotional service because they are envious. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasura na shaucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. They do not know what is good or what is bad to be performed. Na shaucham na pichacharo. They do not know what is cleanliness. They do not know what is achar, what is good behavior. Na satyam teshu vidyate. They never speak truth. And further, in this chapter, in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, describes all the demoniac qualities, asatyam, apratishtamte, jagadahuranishwaram, aparaspara sambhutam, kimanyat kamahaitukam. Asatyam, apratishtamte. They think this world has no real, there is no reality in this world. Like the Mayavadis, they say there is no reality in this world. Asatyam. Apratishtamte. That means there is no pratishtha, there is no proper foundation, there is no source. Somehow it has come. Jagadahur Anishwaram. There is no Ishwara, it is Anishwara. Apparaspara Sambhutam. Somehow it has come up. Sambhuta means, taking birth. Apparaspara Sambhutam Kimanyat Kamahaitkam. It is only because of lust. Everybody has lust, they are all producing, and the same way, somewhere there is some desire, and somehow, it happened. Kimanyat Kamahaitkam. It is just, appear. So basically, this is the nature of the demoniac people. This is how they see the world. They see the world as a place of sense enjoyment. Is a place which has been made for me. It is meant for my enjoyment. Not realizing, the actual reason why the material world has been created. And further, Krishna says, Etam drishtim avashthabya nashtatmano alpabuddhaya prabhatyugra karmana kshayaya jagato ahita. That means they have this vision, etam drishtim. Nashtatmano alpabuddhaya. They have destroyed themselves. They have no understanding of the science of soul. Alpabuddhi they are. Then prabhavati ugra karmana. They only flourish if they perform ugra karma. Very, very sinful activities, sinful businesses, sinful corporates, sinful activities. They only survive on that. They only flourish on that. Prabhavatyugra karmana. Kshayaya jagato ahita. They are only meant for, they are very eager to destroy the world. Kshayaya, to destroy. Jagat ahita. They don't care for the world. They are not well-wishers of the world. They don't worry, what is happening to the planet. In all the oceans, we see so much of pollution today. Not many. Common man does not know. He is not aware. And there is so much of pollution inside the ocean. There are ships, ships and ships of loads of garbage which is dumped in the ocean. It is not boats. Ships and ships of garbage is dumped into the ocean. They don't know where to dump, so they are dumping into the ocean. Why? Because we have created so many things, we don't know what to do. We are dumping it into the ocean. If somebody dives into the bottom of the ocean on the periphery of any country, you will see only garbage there. And it is said that there is space debris. In the space, because thousands and thousands of satellites were sent in the space, and they all blasted over a period of time. And all the, the remnants and this wreckage of all this space shuttles, they're all floating in the space. It is called a space debris. So this is a kind of, human society we are in. Uh, they have not learned how to live in this planet, and they foolishly want to go to Mars. They want to go to Moon. They want to live there. Just kshaya jagato ahita. Look at the world. Look at the war which is happening in Ukraine and Russia. It has become like a video game for countries. For Russia, it has become like a video game, for anybody for that matter, without taking names. So even the media, the channels also, they take pleasure in it. They create animation. I saw one, a channel where they have created funny, caricatures. The reporters are speaking, and the planes are flying, and the tanks are moving. They're taking pleasure in enjoying in reporting all these things. Not on the field, I'm talking in the studio. The tanks are flying, the planes are moving around, and it has become just like it is a joke. War has become a joke. So kshayaya jagato haita, just for the sake of destroying the world. That is how they are. And that is the reason why they go through this suffering. Dukkhadaya. It is our own doing. Bhutanam yan mitah khali. So it is the living entity, it is the living entity's irreligious behavior which causes miserable conditions. The Lord is definitely the cause. Although it says, you are the cause, the Lord is not the actual cause. The real cause is the living entity because of his irreligious behavior. It is not the Lord who is forcing irreligion on the jivas. It is the living entity who is performing that. In fact, 5.15 in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly clarifies. He says, Anadatte kasyachit papam nachaivam sukratam vibho ajnane navratam jnanam tena mubhyanti jantava. I am not the cause of your happiness. I am not the cause of your distress. I am not the cause of your sukriti. I am not the cause of your dushkriti. It is all because of yourself that you enjoy or you suffer. Very clearly, Krishna says, I am not the reason for it. Whatever condition we are in, only we are responsible for it. He is a cause only in the sense that he gives the results of what we have performed. He is a viewer of the results of our activities. That's how it is. So that is why and not only miserable conditions, they go through horrible death, and not only death, they go through the suffering of hellish planets also. So, dukkhadaya. So generally, it is the non-devotees who go through the suffering of hellish punishments. I wanted to cover this. I don't know if I have time. So those who I hope you can see my screen. So those who have these qualities, they are the ones who go through the suffering. They are the ones who actually go through hellish punishments. Daya dharma vivarjita, who do not have mercy to other living entities, who are meat eaters, who kill animals, they are sure to go to hell. And dharma vivarjita, those who do not follow the religious principles, who are devoid of religious principles, they also go to hell. Atma sambhavita stabda. He is very, very self-conceited. He thinks himself great. He is proud. Such people, they go through the hellish punishment. Danamana madanvita. Danamana madanvita. So those, sorry, it is dhanamana madanvita. Those who are intoxicated by dhana and mana, respect, honor, they are very much, attached to having honor. They can never tolerate dishonor. Such people, they are the right recipients for suffering and hellish punishment. Daivi sampat vivarjita, those who do not have the godly qualities like Arjuna had. Aneka chitta vibhranta, people whose consciousness is very multifarious, multifolded. They have 1,000 goals in their mind. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. Yes, you will do this, and this, and finally your destination will be only one, and that will be hell. So this is the result of Aneka Chitta Vibranta. Moha Jala Samanvarta, who is completely illusioned, bewildered, thinking Asat to be Sat, not knowing the reality of the world. They are also going through the suffering. But those who are, ye nara jnana shilasya te yanti paramam gatim. Those who are knowledgeable in Bhagavad Tattva Jnana, who are devotees, who are well behaved, well charactered, they go to the Supreme Lord, or they at least go to the heavenly planets. And those who are, criticizing others, like Nindanam, they also go through hellish punishments. Nindanam is equal to killing. And this famous story is there, in Mahabharata, where Arjuna insults Yudhishthira because Yudhishthira called his Gandiva as useless, and Arjuna had taken the vow that he will not spare that person. And then he insults Yudhishthira. So because of insulting Yudhishthira, he performed killing of Yudhishthira. It is as good as killing Yudhishthira, because when you insult a superior, when we insult our father, mother, superiors like Guru, seniors, then we are actually killing them. That is the meaning of Nindanam. So when he killed Yudhishthira, he was lamenting and he was crying. And Krishna is very intelligent. He said, all right, I know you have murdered your brother now by insulting him. Now you kill yourself. Arjun didn't understand. He said, yes, you can kill yourself. You can do Atma Shlaghayata. You glorify yourself. Then it is as good as killing yourself. Then, Arjuna went on glorifying himself. So we may take pleasure, if somebody tells us, Prabhu, as a punishment, please glorify yourself. We will be flying in cloud number 9 to glorify us, not knowing that it is actually self-suicide. But Arjuna was actually in depression when he was glorifying himself. Glorifying yourself is, suicide. So Krishna made him glorify himself. In my case, I'm talking about, that would be a pleasure. It will be a pleasure activity. And then Paranindanam is to criticize anybody is actually Hatya. And to criticize father, mother, insult them is as good as Matra Hatya, Pitra Hatya. To insult a devotee is Brahma Hatya. To insult mother cow is Go Hatya. We have many examples of insulting cows. In Surya Vamsha, there's this story of King Dilipa. So like that, there are many examples. And then there are many other examples, who goes through the punishments. Murkhepi pandite vapi daridre va shriyanvite sabale nirbale vapi samavarti jamaskritaha. It is not that, somebody who is rich, who is, very intelligent pandita, who knows all the Vedas and Shastras, they'll be spared. No, everybody is equally punished. It is a quality, it is a character which decides what we will go through. Udaram bharta papi nana krandana pidit. Anybody even who is simply engaged in maintaining body and belly of his and his family, they also go through suffering, because the goal of life is not udaram bharta. So like that, there are many examples. And somebody who is very greedy, this entire shloka talks about how one who is eager to, who has a craving for 100 silver coins, he wants 1,000, then he wants 100,000, and then he wants to become emperor. He's still not satisfied. He wants to become a demigod. Then he wants to become the best of demigods. Then he wants to become Brahma. So his thirst for power is never satiated. So because of his eager, intense desire, greediness, he actually goes to hell. But the exact opposite happens. When we are completely freed of any kind of desire and any kind of greed, we end up going to the heaven. This is how, the Shastra describes. The same example is given in Bhagavad Gita also. In the demoniac and the divine and the demoniac, qualities. the demoniac, they speak like this. Idam madhya maya labdham imam prapsyase manoratham idam asti idam api me bhavishyati punardhanam. असौ हत मया शत्रो हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढ्यो भी जनवान् अस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्य इत्यज्ञान विमोहिता. So he says, Krishna is saying that the demoniac person who is very greedy, he says, idam adya maya labdham. Today I have achieved, so much of wealth. Idam adya maya labdham. Imam prapsite manoratham. In the future I will gain much more. Idam asti idam api me bhavishyati punardhanam. I will gain more and more and more. Only then, I will have my own reputation. I will have honor. I will be a great politician. I'll be this, I'll be that. And then it is said, Asau hataha maya shatru. Today I have killed this enemy. Hanishe cha aparanapi. I will kill the other enemies tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Ishwaroham aham bhogi. I am actually controller. Aham bhogi. I am the supreme enjoyer. Siddhoham balavan sukhi. I am the most happy and I am the most powerful. He feels that, they literally feel. They may not speak like this as the way Krishna is telling, but they have that feeling in their heart. One politician is walking, there are 100 people following him. It gives so much of kick. They say kick is nothing but intoxication. It gives so much of pleasure, so much of intoxication. 100 people are following. You go sit in one place, 100 people are standing in front of you, waiting to talk to you, or waiting to it's very pleasurable. It gives us a kick. It gives an intoxication. Ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi adhyo bhi janavan asmi. Adhyo bhi janavan asmi means all there are so many people, so many followers around me. Konyasti sadrisho maya. Nobody is like me. I am a great influencer. I am a YouTube influencer, or I am a influencer of people as a politician, or whatever it may be. And not only that, I am actually religious also. The demon says this. He says, Yakshadasyami modishya. I will perform yagya. I will give charity. It ajnana vimohita. He is so bewildered that he does not know what he is talking. He is crazy. He is greedy. He is greedy for everything. He is greedy for wealth. He is greedy for honor, prestige, fame. He is greedy for power. And they are the ones who will actually, suffer. Okay, so there are many other things. I will like to conclude here. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada jai. If anybody has any questions, you can please ask.
Hare Krishna, Ashoka Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for a very nice class. I would like to open the forum for questions from devotees, comments, questions. I have unmuted the mic. The devotees may please mute your mic and share your questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Very nice point that even if we forget, Lord brings us. That's very nice, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just wanted to ask you one thing about, you said the Gandiva, he curses that between Arjuna and Yudhishthira. Can you please explain that to us, what it is?
Arjuna had taken a pratigya that anybody who insults Gandiva, then he will kill that person.
Okay.
So that is why Yudhishthira insulted. And why does he insult it? Because Arjuna had made a vow that today I will kill Karna, and then he is unable to kill. And at the same time, Yudhishthira is also very tired in the battlefield. He comes back to his camp and he's taking rest. And Arjuna is very worried. Where is my brother? I'm not able to see him. So he wants to see that he is safe. And Arjuna also comes to the camp and he sees that Yudhishthira is sleeping there. Yudhishthira becomes angry. You fool! Why did you come here? You were supposed to kill Karna, and you're coming here to take rest. So you're unfit. This is you boast so much about your Kandiva, it is useless. Throw it away. Then Arjuna becomes very angry. And when he becomes angry, he insults Yudhishthira like anything. Always, there are fights even among devotees, but Krishna is the center. So they all, finally they accede to, whatever Krishna says. So when he insults Yudhishthira, he starts crying. And that is when, at the right time, in the right place, you'll always have Krishna. He'll come there. So he does not need to know, who is where. He knows both are here. So he comes there. And then that is when, he tells you, glorify yourself and it will nullify what you have done. That answers Mataji.
But he cannot kill Yudhishthira, na Prabhu, Arjuna, because he's insulted.
Correct. So insulting, Nindanam is, Paranindanam is actually Hatya. If you criticize anybody, it is as good as killing them.
Okay.
That is why we don't criticize anybody. Even non-devotee, whether devotee, non-devotee, animal, insect, we do not criticize anybody.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one doubt that when we are in that pure state, why do we misuse our minute independence? Is there any reason, Prabhuji?
The living entity is pure, but the living entity gets influenced by the illusory potency of the Lord. Illusory potency is
Before
Duratya.
that, Prabhuji, before coming to the material world, in the spiritual world, why anybody will get this enviousness and other anarthas?
The reason is the jiva has independence and free will, because the Lord has free will and independence. The Lord is known as Swarat. Swarat means supremely independent. Abhigya Swarat, the first verse of Bhagavatam says that. He is supremely independent. So we also have the same qualities as the Supreme Lord, but in minute quantity. So we also have independence. So we start thinking, because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, we also have the inclination to think that I am also the Supreme Lord. I am also Supreme Lord. I also can independently enjoy. I can also separately enjoy. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the Supreme Lord. Because the Lord has that nature. So we do not understand that we are actually dependent on the Lord. We are Tatastha Shakti. That is not understood. So because of that, we are trapped. And then, we become under the influence of the illusory energy, which is most powerful. It is Duratyaya, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Nobody can. In fact, it is said that the jiva, from time immemorial, the jiva is here. It is Nitya Baddha. Nitya Baddha means literally, we have always been here. Of course, there are two classes of devotees. Some say that the jiva fell from the spiritual world, but when we take the opinion and what do you call the purports of the other acharyas, it says that we were eternally bound here. At one point of time, yes, we made a decision to be independent. That is the nature, because it is coming from the Supreme Lord. And we thought that I am the independent Supreme Lord, I can enjoy separately. And that is how, we are put into this trap and we go through this suffering. And there is actually no suffering for the jiva. We think that we are going through the suffering because we identify ourselves with the body, with the mind, with the intelligence, with the senses. And that is why we go through the suffering. It is not that the Lord is putting us into suffering and he is taking pleasure that we are suffering. No, we are in illusion to think that we are suffering. So it is our mistake. It is our problem. I always give this example in other classes. Like in the when you have this jatra, then you put on the dramatist puts on this dress of what is that, Mahishasura. So then Mahishasura, is walking around here, there. He's thinking that I am that dress. But the owner, the person who is the producer of that drama, he knows, no, he's not that person. He's the person inside. And when somebody cuts his crown or somebody cuts his horn or somebody cuts his dress, the person is crying. Why am I suffering? But the owner of the drama, he's telling, no, you're not this person. It is only the dress which is suffering. You're the one inside that. So long, we do not realize we are not this body, mind, the senses, this intelligence, we think we are suffering. Asango hya ayam purushaha. The jiva has no relationship with matter. We are not matter. We are not mind and intelligence also. Because they are matter. We are spirit. Then how are we suffering? Why are we feeling suffering? It is because of the false ego which forces us to think that I am this body, this mind, this intelligence, and we are suffering. And when we overcome that, we don't feel any suffering. Pure liberated souls, they may apparently seem to be going through suffering externally. Jayadev Goswami's hands and legs are cut. Then, Surdas, he loses his eyes. Or Kushtava Vasudev, leper Vasudev, he has his entire body, filled with worms. When Mahaprabhu gave him a transcendental, beautiful body, he said, no, my Lord, I don't want nice body. I want the same old leper body back. Because I will become a victim of identification with my body and I will consider myself as beautiful. I'll become a victim of false ego and everybody will glorify me and people will say he was embraced by Mahaprabhu. I don't want to fall into that trap again. So he was more worried of identifying himself on the bodily platform. That was a more suffering for him than having a leper body. So when we are in that consciousness, no matter in what kind of a suffering we are, we will never experience the suffering. So that's a different stage. It's very theoretical. It's very easy to speak, but it is only through practical realization by maturity of devotional service we have to come to that stage.
Thanks, Prabhuji. I'll try to understand.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are a couple of comments in the chat window. I'll just read it out. Sachitane Prabhu says, thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. And Ravi Lochana Gaurang Prabhu says, thank you for the wonderful nectar. Prabhuji, I think one very nice point that I realized during this session was one who caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord, even unknowingly or unwantedly, the Lord never leaves him. So that is really, really inspiring. And Prabhupada here and there actually gives that hope-giving statement. So in today's class, the hope-giving statement was this. And another thing, what I wanted to relate with that is the children, they were, we engage them in at a younger age, right? Devotee children, they come to temple, they get engaged themselves in some seva, knowingly or unknowingly, but because the parents are telling, they engage themselves in those service. And after several years, when they reach the age of teenage or adulthood, again, it's their nature that go away. But after today's class, what's giving an inspiration is the Lord will never leave them, because they got that taste at the very young age.
Correct.
At some point of time, when they are beaten by Maya, so they will come back. Oh, I got a better taste in my early lifehood, and that's a big hope, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. We should never think that, this devotee's children are not practicing, that devotee's children are not practicing. Then
Exactly.
soon enough, we will also become like that. Oh, this
Exactly.
person is also not practicing. It's better that, we glorify the quality of Krishna. How merciful the Lord is. He will not let go anybody. Everybody is trapped. I mean, transcendentally trapped. So nobody can escape.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions, devotees? Okay. I think we can end the session with Vaishnava
Very
prayer.
much.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindho
Vicha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnava.
Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, again for sharing the nectar and wonderful class today.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees. Tomorrow is Ekadashi. We will see again tomorrow during the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. I'll be ending the Zoom session.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.